You feel like you're doing everything right. You're really trying with your diet. You're hitting your workouts. But that stubborn fat around your midsection just will not budge. It's like it has its own zip code, doesn't it? If that sounds frustratingly familiar, well, you are absolutely not alone. What if I told you it might not be your routine that's, failing, but something far more powerful at play inside your body? Today, we're diving deep into cortisol. You probably heard it called the body's stress hormone. Our mission here is to unpack exactly how chronic stress can quietly impact your weight, especially around the abdomen. And really importantly, what practical, expert-backed steps you can actually take to address it. We've tailored this deep dive to help you really understand the nuances of what people often call cortisol belly.
It's actually fascinating, isn't it? Just how many people experience this kind of silent frustration. Stress often operates as this unseen player, deeply influencing our physiology. And it's really crucial we understand the difference between, say, a common stress response and maybe more serious conditions when we talk about this. So we're not just guessing.
Okay, yeah. Let's unpack this right from the very top then. We hear cortisol thrown around a lot. But for someone maybe new to this, what exactly is it? Like, what's its actual job in the body?
Right. So cortisol is a hormone. It's produced by your adrenal glands, which they sit right on top of your kidneys. Think of it like your body's built-in alarm system. Its main job is to help you respond effectively to stress. And that could be a genuine threat or, just a really packed schedule. It's actually incredibly vital for just daily functioning. It plays roles in reducing inflammation, regulating blood sugar and metabolism, and even supporting memory formation. So it's not inherently bad at all. The challenges, they really start to arise when stress becomes chronic, constant. When your cortisol levels stay consistently high over a long period, that's when you might begin to notice symptoms like persistent fatigue, maybe heightened anxiety, and yes, that stubborn weight gain, often kind of concentrated around the stomach area.
Okay, that makes perfect sense for just, everyday stress. But here's where it gets really interesting and frankly quite important for our listeners to understand. How do we tell the difference between high cortisol from a demanding life and something much more serious? Like you mentioned, hypercortisolism or Cushing syndrome. When do these high cortisol symptoms cross a line from a common stress response into something medically serious? What are the really crucial red flags we should look out for?
That is an absolutely crucial distinction. It's a really important question. While both, involve elevated cortisol, they're very, very different issues. When we talk about high cortisol just due to everyday stress, this is typically triggered by frequent emotional or maybe physical life stressors, things like perhaps consistent poor diet choices or even prolonged sleep deprivation. The good news about this type of elevated cortisol is that it's often reversible, with lifestyle changes.
Okay.
You might experience anxiety, maybe irritability, persistent fatigue, sleep issues, strong sugar cravings. And as we're discussing, weight gain, particularly in the abdomen. These are, common, relatable symptoms for many of us.
Right, familiar stuff.
But hypercortisolism or Cushing syndrome, that's different. It's a serious medical condition. This isn't just about stress levels. It's often caused by an actual tumor, either in the pituitary gland in your brain or sometimes on the adrenal glands themselves. Or it can be a side effect of using long-term steroid medication. And the symptoms are generally much more severe and, distinct. We're talking about significantly high blood pressure and blood sugar. A moon face? That's a very specific round, puffy appearance due to fat accumulation on the face.
Wow.
Pronounced muscle weakness, too. Distinct purple stretch marks on the skin. Rapid weight gain, especially in the face or the trunk area. And something called a buffalo hump. That's a collection of fat on the back of the neck, sort of between the shoulder blades.
Oh, okay.
You might also notice thinning skin, easy bruising. If any of these serious symptoms resonate with you, please connect with your doctor right away. It's really vital to get a professional diagnosis. Don't guess.
That's a really, really clear breakdown. Thank you. So, okay, let's say a listener is experiencing the more common stress-related symptoms, particularly that frustrating fat around the midsection we talked about. How exactly does cortisol make that happen? What's the physiological mechanism? Like, what's going on inside?
Yeah, it's quite a sneaky process, actually. Cortisol primarily promotes fat storage. Specifically, it leads to an increase in visceral fat.
Visceral fat. Yeah.
This isn't just the fat you can pinch, the surface level stuff. It's the fat that surrounds your internal organs, your stomach, liver, intestines. And that type is particularly detrimental to your health. There are about 4 key mechanisms at play here. First, High cortisol levels can actually break down muscle tissue for energy.
Break down muscle. Serious.
Yes. Think about that for a moment. Your stress hormone isn't just making you crave sugar, it's actively sort of cannibalizing your muscles for fuel.
Wow. That's unexpected.
It is. And over time, this leads to lower muscle mass, which in turn significantly lowers your metabolism,
Oh.
essentially turning your body into a more efficient fat storage machine, especially around the belly. That's a real game changer for how we think about diet and exercise when we're stressed.
Definitely. Okay, so that's one. What else?
Second, chronic stress and the resulting high cortisol. It can significantly boost your appetite, particularly for those high-calorie, sugary, and fatty comfort foods.
Ah, the cravings.
Exactly. It's almost like cortisol sends out a little memo to your brain saying, emergency, go straight for the cookie jar.
Hmm.
And this often leads to overeating and, well, predictably, more weight gain. Third, chronic stress and high cortisol can impair your insulin sensitivity.
Insulin sensitivity. Right.
Yeah, leading to what's known as insulin resistance. This means your cells don't respond as effectively to insulin. So higher blood sugar levels hang around longer, and your body ends up storing more of that sugar as fat.
Okay, that makes sense.
And finally, number 4, poor sleep.
Which is almost a universal side effect of stress, right?
Definitely.
Well, poor sleep can further increase cortisol levels. This creates a really challenging vicious cycle where the elevated cortisol leads to low motivation, maybe less physical movement, increased snacking, all of which kind of conspire to accumulate more belly fat. Wow, okay. That interconnected web of effects is much more complex than just stress makes you eat more. It's so easy for us to just point to our overflowing inboxes or maybe a bad breakup as stress. And they certainly are. But I'm curious, are there other, maybe more subtle, perhaps less obvious everyday triggers? Things that can keep our cortisol levels humming along at unhealthy levels without us even realizing it.
Oh, absolutely. Stress isn't just emotional overwhelm or a big work deadline. Many other factors we encounter daily can elevate cortisol, things like blood sugar swings. Ever notice how you crash after a really sugary snack?
Yeah.
That's partly a cortisol spike trying to rebalance things, overtraining with high-intensity workouts without sufficient rest.
Yeah.
That can be a surprising culprit.
Too much exercise.
Well, too much without recovery. Your body perceives intense, unrecovered exercise as stress.
Awesome.
And as we just discussed, poor sleep is huge. It acts as both a cause and an effect. Other factors. Pregnancy can raise cortisol naturally. Restrictive dieting or that yo-yo dieting pattern that puts your body in a constant state of perceived deprivation.
Stressful for the body.
Exactly. And even too much caffeine, especially if you're sensitive or you drink it on an empty stomach. Furthermore, sometimes underlying health issues can contribute. Things like polycystic ovarian syndrome or PCOS, thyroid imbalances, or maybe adrenal dysfunction. And again, just to reiterate, if you suspect any kind of medical condition might be contributing to a cortisol imbalance, it's always, always wise to loop in your healthcare provider.
That's a real eye-opener. It's actually empowering, though.
Yeah.
Knowing that stress goes from so many angles means we have more places we can potentially intervene.
Yeah.
And the good news, as you said, is there are very practical, actionable steps you can take. Steps to naturally reduce cortisol belly fat. It sounds like it's really about making intentional shifts in how we approach sleep, stress management, nutrition, and even our workouts.
Precisely. It's about a holistic approach. Let's walk through some of the most effective strategies. First, move your body more, but crucially, don't overdo it.
Okay, that balance again.
Exactly. Exercise is fantastic for regulating cortisol, but there's a fine line. Overtraining, especially too much high-intensity interval exercise, HIIT, without proper recovery, that can actually raise your cortisol level.
Wow.
Because your body interprets it as excessive physical stress. Instead, maybe focus on daily movement like leisurely walking or gentle yoga. Mix in strength training maybe 2 to 3 times a week. And always, always prioritize active rest days for recovery. Let your body rebuild.
Okay, daily movement, strength, rest. Got it. What's next?
Second, intentionally reduce your stress level. It's easy to just say relax, right? But lowering cortisol means being proactive and specific.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Totally. But try practices like meditation, even just 5 minutes, or deep breathing exercises. Simply spending time in nature, like a walk in a park, can really help. Even small, consistent shifts in how you respond to stress can lead to noticeable changes over time in your cortisol regulation. It's really about building resilience, not just trying to avoid stress completely.
Building resilience. I like that framing. Okay, number 3.
Third, and this is a really big one, prioritize quality sleep.
Sleep. the magic bullet for so much.
It really is. Sleep is your body's ultimate reset button. Poor sleep is a direct pathway to spiking cortisol levels and messing with your hunger and satiety hormones.
Okay, so practical tips for better sleep.
Yeah. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of uninterrupted sleep, if possible. Make your bedroom a sanctuary. Try to avoid screens for an hour before bed. The blue light interferes. Keep the room cool and dark. Limit caffeine, especially after 2 p.m. And try to skip alcohol right before bed. It might make you drowsy, but it disrupts sleep cycles later on. When sleep improves, cortisol naturally decreases, and that belly fat becomes significantly easier to manage. It's foundational.
Foundational.
Yeah.
Okay, and number 4.
Fourth, practice mindful eating. Your body needs consistent, nourishing fuel. Skipping meals or eating when you're super stressed, that can actually worsen cortisol levels.
Right.
It puts your body in a kind of starvation or panic mode. So aim to avoid excessive sugar or those ultra-processed snacks. Try not to skip meals, especially breakfast. It helps set your blood sugar for the day. Strive for balanced meals with protein, fiber, and healthy fats to keep you full and stable. And here's a simple but really powerful tip. Eat slowly and without distractions like your phone or the TV.
Mindful eating, literally.
Exactly. And one more thing here. Your gut health actually plays a surprising role in regulating cortisol. So consider adding probiotic-rich or fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, or kimchi to your diet. Support your gut.
Interesting connection with gut health.
Yeah. Okay. And the last one.
Finally, number 5, limit caffeine and alcohol intake.
Right.
Right.
The daily helpers. Or are they? Well, they can feel like stress relievers in the moment, right? Morning coffee and evening glass of wine. But too much of either can actually prolong cortisol elevation. It keeps your body in that heightened state of stress physiologically.
Okay.
Excessive caffeine, especially on an empty stomach or during already stressful times, can directly spike cortisol. And it definitely interferes with sleep quality later. Try to limit your intake, maybe avoid it late in the day. And regular or heavy drinking that disrupts sleep patterns, increases inflammation, and contributes to blood sugar spikes, all of which keep those cortisol levels elevated. So moderating these habits, it's a surprisingly simple but really powerful place to start if you're trying to reduce that cortisol belly fat.
This has been such a comprehensive, really insightful dive.
Yeah.
While cortisol belly might sound like just another, wellness buzzword, the connection between chronic stress and that stubborn fat around your midsection is incredibly real. It's backed by science.
Yeah.
And it can feel incredibly frustrating, maybe even discouraging when you feel like you're doing everything else right. But as we've explored today, there are practical, empowering steps you can take. Steps to support your body and your overall well-being.
Absolutely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's really about recognizing how profoundly interconnected our daily habits are, how they link directly with our internal physiology, our hormones. This isn't just about weight, it's about your entire stress response system. And this raises, I think, an important question for you, our listener, to maybe reflect on. How might just one small intentional shift in your daily routine, how might that ripple out to impact not only your stress response, but your overall well-being? And potentially, that stubborn belly fat too.
That's a great final thought. And just a reminder, you don't have to figure all this out alone. If you're struggling with persistent belly fat, or you suspect stress-related health issues might be playing a role, please don't hesitate to talk to your primary care doctor. They can help you get to the root of the issue, rule out anything more serious like Cushing's, and help you create a personalized plan that works for your body and your life. You can also find support through specialized programs, like, for example, Baylor Scott & White's Healthy Weight Program. Getting the right support can make all the difference.